Hi, I'm Chris from Venture Athlete, and today I'm going to go over the difference between the Rogue Standard Kettlebell and the Rogue Competition Kettlebells. So on our programming at Venture Athlete, on our Prep and Defend programming, we program kettlebell workouts quite regularly, especially a lot on the preparation for the workout and accessory portions of the workout. So we use kettlebells quite often. So I like having a lot of different weights of kettlebells. So these are the standard style kettlebells, and these would be the competition style. Well, right away you can tell standard kettlebells, the heavier it is, of course, the larger it's going to be. So the more weight, it's bigger, and the handle dimension sometimes gets a little wider and a little fatter on the grip as you go up in weight. These Rogue kettlebells, they're pretty consistent on the handle diameter. They kept them pretty close to the same, whereas the competition kettlebell, it's going to be absolutely identical regardless of the weight that you're using. So I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of each. First of all, price. The standard kettlebells are a little bit cheaper, whereas the competition kettlebells, you're going to be paying a little bit more money. So what do I like about the standard kettlebells? Of course, they're cheaper, and I do like on high rep workouts when you're bringing it overhead, you know what it's going to feel like in that rack position if you're not used to using the competition kettlebells. What I liked about the competition kettlebells and why I was interested in buying these Rogue competition kettlebells in specific was that they have these scalloped flat edges on all four corners, and I'll get into that in just a moment. And then also another thing that I was interested in going to the competition kettlebell was the nice stable base that it has here. You can see on this 18-pound kettlebell, which is, it's very light. If you had a traditional kettlebell at 18 pounds, it would be very small. So look at the size of the base on this 35-pound kettlebell versus this 18-pound. So these competitions kettlebells have a nice, flat, stable base, which if you're doing some kind of L-sits, you're gonna have a much stable platform to work off of, or if you're going handstands on kettlebells or into presses, you're gonna have a much more stable base with, of course, that larger flat area on the bottom of these kettlebells. So these competition kettlebells, they are the same size depending on, regardless of the weight, because they're actually hollow and cored out in the middle. So the light ones, it's probably just the weight of the actual material is to make it. And then the heavier that your kettlebell is, they just fill it with more iron or weight all the way up. So this is an 18-pound, 44-pound, and a 26-pound, and you can see that they're all the same exact size as opposed to these ones with varying sizes. And how about these scalloped edges? I told you I was going to mention those, and that's why I was interested in these. And what do I think? Well, some people complain on kettlebells when they're holding it in the front rack position for a long time. It really tends to put a lot of pressure. Some people get bruising sometimes from the kettlebell right here on the forearm, because this smaller diameter kind of puts a tight pressure point there on the forearm. Whereas on these kettlebells, this flat scalloped corners is right where you hold it in that front rack position. It is very comfortable if you're going to be holding it overhead for a long time. So if you're pressed out overhead and you're holding it for overhead squats, or you're doing a lot of Turkish get-ups, it's a lot more comfortable for that. But one thing that was a disadvantage to those is when you're bringing it up overhead, for example, snatches and bringing it overhead, sometimes when the kettlebell gets into that overhead rack position, you can hit it on that pressure point again if you're not landing it right where it's completely flat. But they are quite comfortable. I do like the consistent size. So are they worth the money? In my opinion, yes, because they're more available right now. It's hard to find these kettlebells in all iron because of COVID and people wanting their home gyms. If you're looking to expand your gym, you might want to spend the extra money and just get these competition kettlebells and get them delivered to keep growing your gym. So in my opinion, yes, they're worth the money. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Really appreciate any feedback you have, and let me know what else I can get you a review on. Thanks.